And he also, in the last book, when Feyre is pregnant and is going to die, and he's like, I can't tell her. Dude, this is her body. And you're not going to tell her? King of feminism, my ass.
Woke. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the Fangirl Feels podcast. My name's Tanya.
My name's Olivia.
And we are a duo who meets together every week to talk about our fictional boyfriends today and other things that make us feel the feels, which, like we mentioned last week, is definitely a millennial term, which we are. Very fitting.
Yeah, we are millennials. It is what it is. We're not pretending to be something we're not.
Yeah, we would never.
Be yourself, kids.
So today, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about our fictional boyfriends, and it is March right now when we're recording, so it's going to be similar to March Madness. And Olivia, do you watch sports?
No, this is the closest thing I'll get to a sport.
Likewise. We don't know what we're talking about in terms of how that actually functions, and we didn't look into it, and we're not gonna. But Olivia and I are both analytical and creative minded humans, so we do have some criteria for how we will judge these fictional boyfriends. And Olivia, would you like to talk about how we will figure out who is the best fictional boyfriend?
I will. Yes, this is very scientific, very, very, very detail oriented. We really did a lot of work to understand how we will judge these men as how good of boyfriends they are. So our first round, there will be 5 rounds of criteria to judge these boyfriends. And our first round will be who would be most likely to pay for the first date. Now, we're not saying that men have to pay for the first date, but he should at least offer up his card. You know, it should be a conversation. So that would be number 1. Number 2, who would go on a Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert with us and not be ashamed? Listen, this is very important. We need to know who would be okay. Who would buy the tickets also? That would be nice. Especially with Taylor Swift.
Very topical. Olivia's looking for tickets if anyone can. And I'm looking for Beyonce tickets. So if anyone's listening, hello, Beyonce.
Please, someone help us. So number 2, that's round 2. Round 3, who would be okay with buying pads or tampons at the grocery store? Whose masculinity is not threatened by purchasing feminine products? Very important. Round 4, who would be most likely to do the chores without you asking? Chores are a team effort. They don't belong to just the women. Very important. That's why this is number 4, because we're getting real serious at this point. And then number 5, round 5, is who would your family / your grandmother, most importantly, approve of? And as immigrant children, the children of immigrants, including your grandparents, is very important, because if your grandmother doesn't like them, if your mother doesn't like them, it's game over. So
game over.
So these will be how we will judge these men. Again, very scientific, very important, very lots of research was done for this.
I agree, because that's what we do, research.
For this, yes. The scientific method was used. Absolutely.
Pythagorean theorem several times.
Pythagorean theorem. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of this. It was used for
we use that. They said we never use it out of school, and look what we just did.
It became so relevant here. I have a shirt on that just has Joel Miller. I feel like I needed to reference. This is not biasing the results, but Tanya bought me this shirt, and I felt like it was appropriate to wear it. For those listening to the podcast, it's a shirt that says I'm infected, and it has just pictures of Joel / Pedro Pascal.
We did want to mention that we tried our hardest to include diverse characters, and it was tough, and we knew it would be tough, and that's super unfortunate. Again, like we'll probably mention this in every episode: diversity matters, inclusion matters, equity matters, and it's got to be a continuous conversation to have representation in media, and especially in fantasy. We noticed that we were struggling to find, a range of diverse characters, but also a range of skin tone too. So do better, Hollywood. Do better, writers out there. We need that representation.
Yes, I think we have a good mix in here, but yeah, it was tougher than it should have been, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll go down the list. There are 32 players in this fictional boyfriend March Madness, and we tried to have an equal spread of book, show, and book, show, and movie characters. At some point, it gets mixed, especially with like book to movie adaptations and book to show adaptations. So it's a little bit random at some point. But the players are Rhys Sand from A Court of Thorns and Roses, Joel Miller from The Last of Us, Rowan Whitethorn from Throne of Glass, Javier Pina from Narcos, Loki from Marvel, Carswell Thorne from The Lunar Chronicles, Gregory Eddy from Abbott Elementary, Killmonger from Black Panther / Michael B. Jordan, Grayson Hawthorne from The Inheritance Games, Mark Spector from Moon Knight. Again, kind of all the Mark Spector personalities are included in the Moon Knight option here. Jacob Palmer from / Ryan Gosling from Crazy Stupid Love. Mr. Darcy, William Fitzwilliam Darcy from Pride and Prejudice / Colin Firth. I like the Colin Firth version, but essentially just Darcy. The Darkling / Ben Barnes from Shadow and Bone. Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars / Hayden Christensen. That's the actor we're referencing. Roy from Ted Lasso. Kaz Brecker from Six of Crows / Shadow and Bone, the show, which I think will mean Freddie Carter when we reference him. Jamie Fraser from Outlander. Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. Gawain / Dev Patel from Green Knight. Nick Young / Henry Golding from Crazy Rich Asians. Jim Hopper from Stranger Things. Aladdin / Mina Massoud from Aladdin. Nick Miller from New Girl. We just have Idris Elba. just Idris Elba. Just him. All the rest of these people are like characters, but it's just Idris Elba. That's fine. He doesn't need a character. Idris Elba / Charles Meitner from The Office. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Regé-Jean Page / The Duke from Bridgerton. Arondir / Ismael Cruz Cordova, sorry if I messed up his name, from Rings of Power. Damon from House of the Dragon. M'Baku from Winston Duke from Black Panther. Chidi Anagonye from The Good Place. And Jung Kim / Simu Liu from Kim's Convenience. So we have quite a spread here of men, and we will be putting them to the test to see who's the best fictional boyfriend. All right, it is time. So round 1. Who would be most likely to pay for the first date? Our first round, our first competition is Joel Miller versus Chidi Anagonye from The Good Place. So who would be most likely to pay for the first date?
We know for sure it's Chidi. Nick Miller would
there's
not.
No question. This is not a competition, which is so sad that Joel's gonna go out this early. But Joel lives in he ain't paying. He ain't paying.
He's not paying. He has no.
No.
It's the apocalypse. He's not paying.
No, he'll like murder. He'll go hunt a rabbit, but he's not gonna go pay. Yeah. It's Chidi. Chidi wins this round. Sorry, Joel, you're out so early.
You know what? I actually thought we were talking about Nick Miller from New
Oh,
Girl.
really?
I didn't read the first word.
No, it's Joel.
That's why I was like, for sure, Chidi. But you know, if we do think about it, probably Chidi also. Like Joel's also not emotionally in a place to be dating.
No.
So
the man needs therapy. I love him, but he needs some. He's in the middle of an apocalypse, right? Like he ain't thinking about paying. I think he would be a good. Well, not in his current state. Maybe pre mushroom fungus, he would pay. But post mushroom fungus, mushroom
I agree.
Fungus apocalypse. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems chivalrous, but now nope, 0%.
Yeah. Compared to Chidi, like Chidi is totally. At least it would be a conversation. Like we said, at least they would be open. We would converse about it. Chidi absolutely would. Sorry, Joel, you're out. First elimination.
Ooh.
Second round, our second competition, Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender versus Carswell Thorne from The Lunar Chronicles. Who would be most likely to pay for the first date?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Oh man. Okay. So context is, if we give them context, like Zuko, remember he went on that date that Uncle Iroh tried to set a bump on, and Uncle Iroh had to walk him through what to do on the date in Ba Sing Se. So there's that context. Carswell is a womanizer.
He's a womanizer. He would know. Like he would know that he needs to pay. Like at the very least. Yeah. Like he understands. He's like kind of chivalrous. He would know.
I agree. Let's do Carswell.
Yeah, I think Thorn wins. Sorry, Zuko. Sorry. This is tough. This is a
I
tough first
know.
round.
I'm sad. I thought Zuko would make it farther.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, third round or just third competition. Rhysand versus Killmonger / Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther. The king of feminism has made his appearance.
Oh my goodness. There he is.
He is. So, what do we think?
He's not performative yet with
No,
his feminism, and Killmonger, literally in his name, would not last past this round. So
no.
I think it's Rhysand. What about
I
you?
think I think it's Rhysand. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Rhysand is like we have issues with him, but he knows to pay for the first date, right?
Yeah.
Again, at least offer. Killmonger is murdering people. Sorry.
If it was just Michael B. Jordan, he might win the whole thing, but it's not. So
You had to pick a character of his. Yeah. Killmonger.
and also fret not, everyone. I'm pretty sure Pedro's still in here, right? Pedro. Yeah, there we go.
From
Later
Narcos.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. He's still
We
there.
didn't kill him off just yet, but he might not win that round. All right.
No, he might not. We'll see. Okay, round 4. Kaz Brecker versus Jim Hopper from Stranger Things. Who would be most likely to pay for a first date? So Kaz would probably steal the food or like blackmail the restaurant owner so that the food was free. So whereas Jim Hopper's a cop, so he would pay.
Yeah. He would pay. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if you saw, there's interviews where they're interviewing Freddie. They go through scenarios like when they're interviewing them, like whose character would do what. And they were like talking about, I think, like a scenario where they were like dating, or he was like dating someone, and instead of like hugging someone or doing something, he only thinks about how can I use you. And that sounds fitting. So like this whole time he's probably thinking like, how can I use this person? So yeah, I do think Hopper would know to pay. Yeah.
Yes. Our favorites are unfortunately are very problematic.
I know.
Sorry, Kat.
Do we still want to date them? Yeah, but you know,
Yes.
in this scenario, they wouldn't make it.
Okay, round 5. Anakin versus Hayden Christensen from Star Wars versus Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. Oof, this is not a competition.
I mean, yeah, it's like Anakin's literally evil. So,
is he not? Is he not like Darth Vader?
He's Darth Vader? Yeah. So he's Darth Vader, and especially like the older Anakin in the third one, Revenge of the Sith. Like when I think he's the hottest, he's also the most evil. So we cannot choose. He's killed younglings. We can't.
Yikes.
So Aragorn, come on, Zaddy, all the way.
The perfect man is Aragorn. Yeah. If Aragorn doesn't make it to at least the final or like semifinals, I will be very surprised.
Yeah.
He's the perfect man.
I can't think of any scenario where we'd kick him out. Like,
I would happily
MVP. Shall we give them some awards? Like so far, MVP in our book
is Aragorn. It's true. I mean, without question. Yeah. I don't know anyone who would not pick Aragorn. Okay, number 6, round 6. Ryan Gosling / what's his name from the show or the movie? Jacob Palmer from Crazy Stupid Love versus Gregory Eddy from Abbott Elementary. This one's tough.
Actually tough. Oh my gosh, because they're both attractive men who like not players, but they date around. They date around because they're cute.
And they know like their place. They know that they should offer. They're both pretty, like they're both gentlemen. Mm-hmm. So we have to think a little deeper about this one.
Okay, because so they right off the bat would both first know to pay, but who has ulterior motives? And I don't think Gregory has the same ulterior motives. Like Ryan Gosling knows that he's going to take the person home and then ditch him, versus Gregory, he dates. He's a perpetual dater. He dates multiple times. So I think Gregory is going to win this round. What do you think?
I can be convinced. Yes, I think you're right. I mean, in that movie, Ryan Gosling's character is a womanizer. It's only until Emma Stone's character comes in that he like changes his ways and is not a womanizer. So while I would like to think that I would be Emma Stone in this scenario, I would love that. You got to believe men. You got to believe them.
And I was about to say, neither of us look like Emma Stone, so therefore for this specific scenario,
yes,
Gregory.
True. So I think Gregory. I think you're right. Okay, round 7. The Darkling Ben Barnes versus Rowan from Throne of Glass. Rowan Whitethorn.
Yeah. It's for sure Rowan in this
Yeah.
scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. The Darkling ain't doing that.
Do you think the Darkling would pay for dinner with you, Olivia?
I would like to think so, but I think he would probably hold everyone hostage, and it would just not be a fun date. I could see it be as attractive as he is, as much as we love him look wise. I think it would be a toxic scenario. We need to get out of there.
No one's safe at this restaurant.
No, the restaurant is in the fold. The restaurant is a terrifying place with those weird shadow creatures. It would just be bad.
Ben Barnes would, but not the Darkling. So we're gonna give this to Rowan, who's handsome, one of the most handsome fantasy characters out there.
He is. And while he's a jerk at first, because Sarah J. Maas loves writing jerks at first, he comes through at the end. Absolutely. Okay, round 8. M'Baku from Black Panther versus Javier Pina from Narcos. And I hope I'm saying his last name right. I actually have never seen Narcos, so
it's Pena.
Pena? Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's M'Baku all the way. Because Javier Pena is like a womanizer in that show.
Really?
And he kills people. He's part of the CIA, which is questionable from the get-go. So
fair. He looks good doing it. But M'Baku, M'Baku's like a man.
A man.
A man. Not that Javier, what was he in Pena? Pena is not a man, but different definitions. Yes.
So yeah, you're right. M'Baku he seems chivalrous. He seems nice. Like I think in the most recent Black Panther, isn't he like nice to the main characters?
I think so. Yeah. We can include we can take like a moment of silence for the loss of our last Pedro Pascal character. In the first round, pour one out for our last Pedro Pascal character. In round 1, he's gone. Well, we had a moment of silence for him. Next is Jamie Fraser from Outlander versus what's his name again? Gawain / Dev Patel from Green Knight.
In real life, I would pick Dave Patel, but his character is a no-go.
I don't know his character, so I'm relying on you. I'm like, my gut's telling me Jamie Fraser. It's Jamie. Yeah.
It's got to be always. Yeah. What a great character. Yeah. He's super chivalrous, right? He has some like problematic views only because of like the time period of women. Yes. Like, I think he like spanks his wife, but
he's
like
a product of his time for sure.
Yeah. And it's hard to attribute our values to that time period. Same with Dave Patel. Like, actually, his character's from like medieval times. But
yeah, Jamie would pay for dinner. He would probably have hunted dinner in his time.
Yeah,
I know we discounted Joel for hunting, but Joel is just, he has other issues on top of that. I think Jamie would pay.
Yeah, he's also a man. How'd you say that?
A man.
Those thighs. Yeah, no, love it.
Yeah. This one's tough. Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice versus Arondir from Lord of the Rings. Mr. Darcy's a gentleman, I think, and he's very wealthy, so he would pay. I don't think Mr. Darcy would have any issues paying. Arondir, I don't think would have any issues paying either.
Yeah, he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
As well.
Arondir is in a battlefield with orcs. So the man doesn't know if I don't think he has a lot of money. Not the discount, he doesn't need to have a lot of money. He's just kind of like, it's just the scenario. He might not even know what to do at a restaurant, if we're honest. But I don't want to discount him, because when he does end up at a restaurant, I think he would pay.
Yeah.
But he might be a little confused at first. Yeah. Which is, I don't blame him. He's fighting orcs all day.
Right. He's not in this a stage of his life to be dating, or no.
He's like 100-something years old.
Yeah. He's very old. He did fall for someone in that episode, that series.
He did.
But did it go well? I can't even remember. It was so long ago.
I don't think it concluded at all.
I'm forgetting Pride and Prejudice, but does Mr. Darcy date around, or is he very particular when he does date?
So he's kind of has the reputation of being proud. And during that time, like the Regency, Gregorian era, it's not necessarily like you date. It's very much. You court people, engage. So it's very formal. And he's known for being the wealthiest man in society at that time. So he's hosting balls against his will, maybe sometimes, but he's hosting, but he's gonna pay. Like, it's not gonna be an issue. But he is a little proud. Can be a little proud.
Maybe we choose Mr. Darcy for this scenario.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way, but I don't want to discount Arondir, but I think
I know. He was one of our favorite. He's a fave. We'll add him to our faves list. He wasn't maybe the MVP of this list, but he's a hotly contested.
Yes. Like, we just want another pour one out in the same way we poured one out for Pedro Pascal's characters, one for him. Yeah. We do love him. Okay, we have 6 more rounds in the round 1. I keep saying rounds and rounds. I hope people understand what I'm referring to. Okay, Nick Miller from New Girl versus Jung Kim Simu Liu from Kim's Convenience. I think this is an obvious one.
But it's going to be Simu Liu or Jung Kim.
Yes, because Nick does not have any money until he becomes a famous writer. But even then, he would be like, why am I paying?
Yeah, why am I doing? I swear there's an episode where he gets out of paying on a date. I'm pretty sure there is.
I think so. I love him. He's hilarious, but he's not making it past this round.
He might be honorary the funniest character from this list.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We'll give him that since we're not choosing him. So Nick Miller, we want to laugh with you.
I love him. I want to be his best friend. Is he boyfriend material? Probably not.
Probably not. He would agree. He'd be like, no, I'm not.
He is. I would agree. Okay, this next round is really funny.
Just ease yourself.
You can think of a person.
Oh my gosh.
Where did we end up choosing? Idris Elba.
Oh, we chose the Office guy from.
Yeah, but we didn't put it in here, so just Idris Elba.
All right.
I think this eliminates. I think we know who wins in this too.
Yeah, Loki's psychotic. We can't choose Loki.
I love
Loki. We find out dates himself. So
yes, that's true. You're right. The female version of him. Yeah, he ain't paying for a date for us. He's like also manipulating the staff. It's just bad. Like it's a bad time in that restaurant.
Add him to the therapy list. This therapist is gonna make so much money from this list.
The therapist straight to therapy. Yeah. Okay. Next, Mina Masood / Aladdin. He's also Egyptian, so there's a bias there, but I won't let it bias me.
Okay.
And then Ray J, Jean Page / the Duke from Bridgerton. Who would pay for a first date?
Curious about your thoughts with Mina. This was a choice. Olivia wanted to add this actor, very attractive Egyptian man, we'll say.
Yes, he is. I mean, we were going for diversity. Mina is a beacon in the Coptic community. I mean, he's like one of the few Coptic actors. It's like him and Rami Malek, who is a bigger name.
Surprised we didn't add him. Yeah.
Yeah, Rami Malek is bigger. Definitely, I mean, Oscar winning. But Aladdin is just, we all love Aladdin. But I think the winner is obvious. Aladdin is poor. Granted, he's become a king.
That's the clip. Done for the Aladdin is poor. Therefore. We're the most classist podcast out there.
I'm really crying.
We don't date poor.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean that he's poor.
I'm crying. That's so funny.
I hope people understand what I mean. I'm literally sobbing.
I'm teasing. I got it. Because I was gonna say the same thing. Like he's literally stealing for his own meal. He cannot afford to take me on a date.
He can't. And it's not until after he meets Jasmine that he literally sobbing. Yeah, it's the Duke versus the Duke.
So yeah, we're gonna choose reggae because Aladdin's poor. Next.
We're gonna get attacked for being classist.
Oh my god, Gen Z's gonna kill her.
Sorry. I promise I would pay for Aladdin. I would.
Right, we would pay.
I would pay it. I would happily pay for Aladdin. I that's not the criteria here. Again, it just has to be a conversation, and Aladdin can't have that conversation.
He's not in the place.
He's not in the place. That's okay.
Ooh.
Oh man. Okay, next.
Ooh.
Oh, let's breathe. Okay. Nick Young from Crazy Rich Asians, Henry Golding's character, versus Grayson Hawthorne. Oh, these are two really wealthy people.
Wow, this is a great matchup. Yeah.
Wow. This is tough. So money coming from Aladdin. Money ain't an issue here.
Yeah. Complete opposite.
Quite the opposite. We have multimillionaires. Yeah.
Like I can't afford the date. Yeah, I'm not.
No.
Cancel me.
I'm not even offering my credit card in this situation. Like we're at a 5-star hotel, like restaurant. I ain't offering.
Wow. Okay. So both handsome and from families that have a lot of like prestige and like ideas of how to treat people and how to court women. Like they have like Henry Golding from his like the character's name from Crazy Rich Asian, like the cultural background on top of being rich, and then Grayson like Southern rich. You know, there's certain like Southern charm, chivalry that's coming with him. So this is tough.
This is tough. I don't even know how we're gonna even like this is where the game ends. Like it's over.
Yeah. Couldn't figure it out. And that was it.
That was it, guys. We couldn't go past round 1. We couldn't do it. Grayson may be a little bit suspicious. I'm assuming I'm Avery in this, and I've stolen his money.
Yes.
So Grayson may be a little bit suspicious, but he's absolutely chivalrous. Henry Golding's character, I mean, no questions asked, would pay.
Mm-hmm. Would fly us out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Would fly us out. We would be in, where is his family from? Singapore?
Singapore.
Yeah, we would be in Singapore. It would be an incredible date. And I just think Henry Golding is the most beautiful man alive.
Yeah. No, and accent, everything. And he's tall. Ugh.
Yes. Grayson is also, I mean, he's like 20. He's 20.
Yeah.
And he actually doesn't have, I mean, he has money, but in the books, it gets taken by...
Spoiler, Olivia.
I mean, it's the plot of the books where, like, the girl Avery gets all the money. Sorry. So I think he has money, but not as much as you think. So like he's poor out.
Poor, but bye.
He's actually poor.
Yeah,
he only gets like what, like 100K. So man's poor.
Yeah.
He only
our
has
spectrum of poor is from Aladdin to 100K. We're like anything in that range.
Poor. Next.
No date. Not even entertaining this.
No. Okay. So
and also I was gonna say Grayson is not emotionally ready to date, so we are going to go to Henry Golding's character, Nick Young.
I agree. Yes, we had to come up with some other qualifications like to weed these people out, so makes sense. Yeah. Okay, our final 4 in this round 1, we have Roy from Ted Lasso versus Damon from House of the Dragon. This is an unhinged group of boys.
Olivia, can you illustrate what would happen if Damon took you on a date? What would he do?
I would be fearful for my life, to be honest. It would be terrifying. But also the same with Roy, but for different reasons. Damon, I'm not convinced I would literally survive. I'm convinced I might die. Roy, it just might end up with a lot of like fucks. There just might be a lot of fuck. He just will yell a lot, you know?
I thought you were going in a different direction when you said that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes, as I said, I was like, that's not what I meant. I meant he just would yell that a lot. He would be very angry, and I don't handle anger very well.
Same. They both have anger issues, which a lot of men do have.
Yes,
I think. But yeah, I do agree. Damon, also incest. He's been with his family, so we're gonna that alone. But also, Damon is psychotic. You can't trust him.
Yeah, he's got some issues. If he's on a date with one of us, it's not incestual. But the fact that he even considers incest is like a red flag.
Yeah,
they can both afford dinner.
Yeah,
they can't. It's just like, what's the date like?
First criteria, you can afford it. I'm sure. Aladdin? No. Why did we
Yeah.
even include him?
You can't afford dinner. I'm sorry, the boy can't afford it. And so I think it's Roy. How do you
Yeah.
feel?
Roy. Yeah, Roy.
Roy. He's a soccer player. Like it's Roy. Okay, our last round that will compete against Roy is Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher / Henry Cavill's character,
Yeah.
and Mark Spector / all of his personalities from Moon Knight.
Wow. Okay. Oof, this is tough. Because Geralt is, I don't think, ready to divorce.
He is though.
He is.
At least I think he is.
He's too poor.
Too poor. Is he not poor? I don't know. I didn't mean to make this a whole classist game now.
Here we go. And then so Moon
reality.
Knight like literally can't keep a job. He keeps turning into Moon Knight. So we can't. So both of them are poor.
He keeps hiding
can't.
from the authorities.
Yeah.
So
he can't go on a date with us. And I'm gonna do so therefore hot take, maybe Geralt wins. I don't think Moon Knight can handle dating us.
It's possible. Yeah, Moon Knight, it just like Mark Spector, it's a lot. Geralt, he can get by. I mean, I say he's poor. He clearly can get by.
Yeah.
It might be Geralt.
He'll like you mentioned, he'll hunt us dinner, and there you go, that's the date.
Yes. But we eliminated people based off that same criteria earlier.
We don't have to make sense.
This doesn't have to be logical.
I'm willing to be convinced that Oscar should stay because I also love him too. So
let's see. What else can we give him? I mean, in the Moon Knight world, there are at least restaurants. So he's traveled. So clearly he has some money. You know, he's getting by. Geralt, I think, also has some money, but different currency.
I think Mark Spector would be more chivalrous. If I know I keep saying that, but like that's like
what
a man pays, that is a chivalrous thing to do, and I do think that Mark Spector would be
more chivalrous,
more willing, to pay. Versus Geralt would be super skeptical. You know, it took him a while to like admit that he likes the main woman character.
Yennefer.
Yennefer. So maybe it's Mark. Actually,
it might be Mark. Yeah, and he's dating an Egyptian woman. And I love her.
She's great.
She's great. She's beautiful. Again, this doesn't have to make sense.
I was going to mention something similar because Geralt's dating Yennefer's actress is half Indian. So I'm like,
whoa, this is us competing.
I know.
Competing against each other. They both could have won, honestly. They both could have won. And it's sad Henry Cavill's character is gone this early.
He's so handsome. Yeah.
He is so handsome. Okay, moment of silence for the fallen. In our first round,
mini violin,
the Mr. Krabs mini violin, and that was our round one.
Yes,
quite chaotic. So now we are on to round two. Where this question so we tried to craft these questions to just be like, oh, you're dating. So we just had our first date, who was most likely to pay. So now we're actually dating. It's a little bit more serious. And who would go to a Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert with us? You know, who would not be scared to be there? So round two, first matchup, who would be most likely to go to a Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert with us? Chidi or Carswell Thorne?
Wow, this is a hard round because also there's an assumption that they wouldn't already be fans of either of these artists. I don't know. It's a very very feminine artists. I mean, when we talk about going to these concerts, we're only talking to our women friends.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like Beyonce, there's more men. Yeah, the point still stands.
Yeah, I guess, or like straight men.
Yes,
because I'm thinking I have a lot of gay friends who are going to these concerts.
Absolutely,
so yeah, the straight men we're trying to bring, and who would maybe help pay.
Yeah, please buy my ticket
as long as they're not poor, you know.
Yeah, I think both of these men would be willing to go.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think Chidi might be a little anxious going to a big concert like this, but I think he would go. Carswell Thorne. I think would be actually secretly the biggest Taylor Swift fan.
You
I think
think?
yes, I think he would be like, "Oh my God, I love her." I just see that, from what I know from his character.
Yes, and he's into Cress, who looks like
Yes.
Taylor Swift, so that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah. I think he would be a secret Taylor Swift fan. But I think they would both be willing to go.
Okay, who can afford to go, I guess. I mean, if we're
Who's not poor?
or yeah, like who would, you know what I mean? Because these are, so we're talking about two of the most famous artists in the world whose
Yeah.
tickets are selling from like 300 to 500 plus dollars, right? Like right off the get-go. So like you have to save up for this. So who would be willing to pay that much, especially if they're not big fans? You know what I mean? Like they're going almost as support for us. Who would be more supportive in this scenario?
I mean, Carswell, like Thorne was a convicted felon.
He's constantly on the run.
Yeah, but he was in prison when we first see him in the books. So, but he does then, later on get, he becomes friends with the king and queen of, this world. I don't want to explain all the Lunar Chronicles here. So money, spoilers. But we also, we judged Aladdin early on around like him before he married Jasmine. So we can't consider that. We just have to take him as he is.
You're right.
Chidi, I think, would do it. But
oh, was he a researcher or something? Like that was
yeah.
his, like, because he wrote like research papers, but he could never pick a topic.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Carswell because Chidi could never choose which seats. He would go back and forth about like, should we get floor seats? Oh, but should we get like higher up seats to save money? But Beyonce's a once in a lifetime situation. So I think it's Carswell.
I think it's Carswell too. Yeah. I think Chidi would just overthink the situation and end up we wouldn't just not end up going.
So Carswell.
Yes.
Carswell would dress up in merch for sure.
Oh, absolutely he would. He absolutely would. He would. That's why I'm like, I think he would be secretly a number one fan of either of these singers.
And also PS, a plug, if anyone finds tickets to either Beyonce or Taylor Swift, please send them. Thank you.
Please help us. Please. I almost got scammed on Twitter twice today. Gosh. Someone help me. Okay, number 2, Rhysand versus Jim Hopper.
Oh my gosh.
Who would be most likely to go to a concert with us?
I can see both of them.
I can too.
Going. Okay.
Hopper's a little old for Taylor Swift or Beyonce. But Rhysand's also like 800.
Yeah.
Maybe age is not a factor.
It did take Jim Hopper a long time to like show emotion and like admit, like it took him a long time to admit that he loves
I forget her name too, but
it's so emotionally, like I feel like at first he'd be like, I don't listen to either of those artists, those are girly artists, and then it would take a lot of convincing, versus I think Rhysand would literally buy the tickets and surprise us with the tickets. So I think it's Rhysand.
I agree. Yeah, I think Reese would absolutely do that. Reese, we're on like nickname terms. Reese.
Reese.
Yeah. He would absolutely surprise. He'd be like thoughtful enough to think of the tickets. He would buy like box seats because he's, High Lord of the Night Court.
Yeah.
So he would actually pay to just meet Taylor Swift or Beyonce. Like he would be there.
Beyonce, they like flew out to Dubai because someone like paid her for a specific, like, wasn't it like a private concert? So like I feel like Rhysand would pay to have her come out to what is the night city called?
Valaris.
Valaris. Yeah. So Beyonce and Taylor Swift would go together. He would be like, why would we choose? It'd be both. He'd fly them out. So we'd go together. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he would like buy out all the merch so that you could pick whatever merch you wanted.
Yeah.
And it would be a magical time. Next round, the next bracket, Aragorn versus Gregory Eddy.
What? Okay.
Oh man,
this is hard. I'm glad this is a good one to get rid of some, because they would both go. They would both be supportive.
Aragorn is like not toxic at all. Not that Gregory is either, but Aragorn is just like perfect man.
Yeah,
he would be there. He would be very even if he doesn't fully understand it, he would be there. He'd be like, "Do you want me to go get you anything?" Make sure he could have like water at the ready. Yeah, he would just be very thoughtful. He would be making sure that like you had a good experience the entire time. Even it's just like he knows it's not about him. It's about you.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards him because he's had years to kind of understand himself and like, you know what I mean, be confident in who he is, versus Gregory currently in like Abbott, like he's struggling with, like, we watch him through episodes, like kind of figuring his personality out. You know, he has issues with his dad and whatnot, and so I don't think he's as confident as Aragorn is in himself. Yeah, so I think it would be Aragorn.
I agree. He's a child in comparison to
Yeah,
Aragorn.
100%.
Because Aragorn's literally also like
hundreds of years old.
Yeah, hundreds of years old. I think he's older for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Aragorn would just be he would be like, it's all about you. This is your moment. You have fun. It's Aragorn.
Yeah, he's just standing there. He's like, I'm gonna guard the door, you know, and then I'll bust in when you need me. And
yeah.
You know.
And like, yes, it's like, oh, you need food. He'll go get it so that you don't miss the show, any part of the show. Oh, you need water. Yeah, he has like 4 water bottles ready for you. He's the one driving. He's the one doing it all. So you can drink. He's the designated driver. Like, he's perfect.
Perfect.
Boys need to learn.
They do. I know.
From Aragorn. No pressure. Okay, next is Rowan Whitethorn from Throne of Glass versus M'Baku.
Ooh. What's your gut say?
My gut's saying M'Baku. But not that I don't think Rowan would. I think Rowan would, but M'Baku is he lives in modern times, so he understands. I think it would be kind of a Rhysand thing. He would be like, you want Beyonce? I'll get you Beyonce. She'll come here.
Yeah. Like Wakanda will pay for her.
Yeah. Yes. No, and I think Rowan relies on Aelin's money.
Yeah. Yes.
So Rowan doesn't have money on his own.
He's poor.
Are they poor?
Yeah, they have what's vibranium money in Wakanda, so M'Baku's probably loaded.
Yeah, I think Rowan wouldn't understand it. He wouldn't judge it, but necessarily, but I think he would just be confused. It's just not his thing. And I think he would be a little bit like,
yeah,
I don't really want to go.
I agree. Toxic masculinity is prevalent in Rowan. I don't know M'Baku enough to know if he is too. Maybe he is a little bit, but I agree. I'm leaning towards M'Baku.
Yeah.
All right. The man.
Man. Okay, next round. Jamie Fraser from Outlander versus Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice.
We can't choose. Wrap it up.
We can't. Wrap it up. I don't think either of them would love this.
They both live in like super patriarchal societies, so like that's also a factor. Where like maybe like them paying, like how we said Rhysand would pay to have the singers out. I don't think they'd pay to have like Beyonce and Taylor Swift come out.
I think Jamie would be like, who are these women who are half naked? This is horrible. Yeah. And I think same with Mr. Darcy. I think he would also be like, this is shameful.
I'm leaning towards Jamie.
Yeah. I think Jamie would be like, oh, I don't agree with this, but if you like it, I guess I'll go.
And Mr. Darcy's too proud.
Yes.
He wouldn't come. He's still getting over it, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, he would never show his face there. It's true. Jamie wins.
My heart.
I know. Jamie wins my heart. I mean, we knew Jamie would make it pretty far. It makes sense.
Yeah.
He's this far through. He's gone to the quarterfinals. Okay, next is Jung Kim versus Simu Liu versus
Idris Elba. The fictional man, Idris Elba.
The fictional man, Idris Elba. I think it's Jung Kim because he's younger. He's more chill. I think he would. Well, I don't know. He like is kind of a boy. He plays basketball.
Yeah. He's definitely immature in that series.
So maybe it's not. Maybe it's just Idris Elba.
I think it's Idris Elba. I'm going to say Idris Elba wins this whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's Idris Elba.
I think it's Idris. I was going to say, and also Jung Kim is not in the place to pay for that unless he makes more car sales. You know, like that's only then. But he's got to, work to get. Idris Elba has money. Yeah, and he can pay for us to go.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah, I love it. It's unfair. It's like a fictional character versus Idris Elba. It just is. It's just him. But it's Idris. You're right.
Even if we were comparing to the character from The Office, it would still be Idris. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
like
money.
Rich enough to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would be I don't think he would be happy to be there either. Yeah, that's the thing. This is the question. Is like, would they go to a Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert with us? Well, I think I think Idris Elba's character would probably be okay with the Beyonce concert. Okay, the last bracket is the Duke / Regé Jean Page from Bridgerton versus Henry Golding / Nick Young.
Just Henry. We're just
this is so chaotic. We use names and characters. Who's who? It's again, this is not a science. This is an art.
Yeah.
This is tough. I think it's Nick Young.
Yeah, I think so too. Like we mentioned before, like again, he would pay he has the money to pay for them to come out to Singapore. We'd go to and then we'd watch the concert, and he has no issues also like personality wise going versus like I'm not sure if the Duke has lots of issues with like showing his true feelings. So I'm gonna go with Henry Golding, Nick Young.
The Duke would think it's too weak, too feminine for him.
Yeah.
He would never go. Sorry. It's totally Nick Young. Yeah, he would
pour one out.
Yeah, pour one out. All right, our last round in the round 2, our last bracket. Roy from Ted Lasso versus Mark Spector from Moon Knight.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard to judge.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it's Mark Spector. Roy would never be caught. Well, actually, no, because Roy went with his his niece. He goes out with his niece, and he's really sweet.
Yeah.
So he actually would. He might not be happy, but he would do it. I think.
Yeah.
And maybe he would really like it.
Mark's constantly afraid of like switching personalities and monsters chasing him. So I don't think Mark could even go.
Yeah, I understand. I think he would be too on edge.
Yeah.
I think what's Mark Spector's first character? Stephen Grant. I think Stephen Grant.
Stephen Grant would go because he's still new to the split personalities.
Yes, I think Stephen would go. But I think Roy would go. He wouldn't be happy about it, but he would go. And then he would actually have a lot of fun once he's there.
He would be crossing his arms and like the whole time.
Yeah, he'd be bitter about it. He would say fuck the whole time because that's like his entire personality.
Yeah. Let's do Roy. That was a good point with the niece. That's true. He's very, very he's more like confident and forward when he's with his niece.
Yes. Yeah. I think he's like okay with the girly he doesn't love the girly stuff, but he accepts it. Mm-hmm. Whereas Mark Spector, I think to your point, it might just cause a lot of anxiety to be there. So he might not go.
And us with him, like, are you okay? Like,
yeah, like I gotta watch that. Like, are you good? Because I gotta watch this. And that was round 2, the round of 16 for our fictional boyfriend March Madness. Another pour one out to the ones that we lost in this round. Mm-hmm. That was tough. That was a tough one. We're getting tough. We're on to round 3, quarterfinals.
Wow.
Yeah. On to the quarterfinals. And so now our relationship's a little bit more serious. And so in this round, we are judging them and who would be most likely to buy pads or tampons at the grocery store for us. This is kind of on the same line as like Taylor Swift, like feminine, and like Beyonce feminine, but it's a little bit more, this is more intense. You're alone.
And it's unfortunate that this is even an issue for anyone because it's just like sanitary products that we need. So
we just have to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in our first round, it is Carswell Thorne versus Resand.
What a fake feminist, right?
Yes. This moment, he bought us Taylor Swift / Beyonce tickets, but is he buying us pads and tampons? I don't know. He's hiding pregnancy issues from us. So is he buying pads and tampons?
I think he'd vote to take our rights away, to be honest. So like, I think it would might be Carswell.
I think it might be Carswell. I think Carswell would be cool with it. I mean, who knows? I think Resand would just pay someone to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Resand wouldn't be the one doing it versus Carswell would probably steal it, but that's fine. That's okay. We accept him for who he is, a criminal. Yeah.
We accept him for being a convicted felon. Yeah. Resand would he would pay someone to do it, or I don't think he's doing it himself. And that's the point. Like, would he do it? No, he wouldn't.
No. Yeah.
It's Thorne. He would probably call like FaceTime at the grocery store being like, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Like that one. But he would be there. He'd be at the grocery store.
What do the sizes mean? Does that pertain to your body shape or what does it mean?
Yeah, he's confused, but he would do it. Okay, next one. Aragorn versus M'Baku. I think this is the same conversation.
Yeah, very similar. I was about to say, sounds weird. And I'm leaning towards Aragorn for similar reasons. I think Aragorn would not have any issues. Again, he's so old that like he's lived through any versus M'Baku might, Maybe he would also pay someone to do it. I don't think he would be in the store getting them himself.
I agree. Yeah. And money, I know money was an issue before, but it is not the issue now. Would you be there for me? Would you be in the grocery store?
Yes.
And it is Aragorn. Aragorn's got
Aragorn.
money. And he would be like, I bought you a bunch because I didn't know which one you needed.
We're going to stock up the castle because I didn't know. And like, how many do women use in a month? Like 100? I'm not sure. And then
like they did with Sally Ride with NASA. Yeah. It's like, I don't know if you need like 100 a day, but that's okay. I'd be like, that's fine. At least you did it. And that's all that matters. Okay, next. Jamie Fraser versus Idris Elba.
Wow. Lots to consider. Here we go.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think it's Idris all the way. Idris Elba. I think that Jamie, again, time period. Again, we're going to judge, like put our morals into like that time period. Like, I don't think he'd be like comfortable with himself to go like get, what do they have at the time? Like cloths for the woman. That'd definitely be a woman's issue. He would have one of the women's maids do it.
Yes.
For Claire. Versus Idris Elba, modern man, want him to be James Bond, would definitely get us pads and tampons.
Jamie doesn't know what a period is.
Mm-mm.
You know, like in the first season, he doesn't even know like what sex is. The man doesn't know. He's confused. He's like, what is this? What do you need? Are you possessed? He would think it's like a demon possession. He's not getting us pads or tampons. It's Idris.
It's Idris. Idris Elba, the man.
Just him, not the character, just him. Just him. Okay, next is Henry Golding / Nick Young. I keep messing up his name. From Crazy Rich Asians versus Roy.
Ooh, okay. What are you thinking? Yeah.
I'm the same things that we said about Taylor Swift, I think apply to Roy here. However, I think Nick Young, while he's wealthy and would pay someone to do it, he's lived in New York, so he knows, like, he's pretty down to earth, and he'd be like, yeah, I'd grab you some. I think it wouldn't be an issue for him. Whereas I think Roy again would be like bitter, but would do it.
We would have to talk him into it, and that's not what we want, right? We want them to do it for us. Like, we don't even have to tell them, like, I started my period today, babe. Oh yeah, I'll just run to the store real quick. Versus Roy would be like, oh, like, what do you want? Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be like, which one? What do you want? Oh, yeah. Okay. You'd be like mad about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'd have to explain. Yeah. A lot of like emotional effort being put into Roy versus I think Nick Young would not be that much of an effort.
No.
What if it's just Henry Golding versus Idris Elba?
The final. That's it. And that was the round. That was the quarterfinals. So now we are on to the semifinals. Wow, we are getting down to it. And I have to admit, this is not what I expected to be the end. Some of them I expected, like Aragorn.
Yeah.
We said that from the beginning, but didn't expect some of these other ones.
Same. I am very surprised. Yeah, that first off, Pedro Pascal is not in this list. I know what number one?
He was the first one out. Was the Pedro Pascal character, which is sad, but it makes sense. He was against Chidi, so
yeah, that's tough.
It is tough. So for the semifinals, we are now getting real serious. The question is, who would be most likely to do chores without you asking? This is serious.
Yes,
that's a tough one. So our first round is Carswell Thorne versus Aragorn. I think we know the answer.
It's Aragorn. We'd have to talk Carswell into it, Thorne into it so hard. It would be a discussion. And he seems messy. I'm pretty sure in the books they described his situation on like the ship messy. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Aragorn would either have someone cleaning the place, but like I think he himself would just do anything for the woman he's with. I really think so.
Yeah. He would, like, even if he doesn't understand at first that he needs to help clean, he would absolutely do it because he loves us so much. They'd be like, oh, I don't want her to do this alone. I am going to help. And it would be done. It'd be a magical experience. It's Aragorn.
Where do you find Aragorn in real life?
Please. Yeah, Thorne would just be, you'd have to talk to him and he'd be like, oh, I didn't realize. He's just like, he just wouldn't know. He just wouldn't think about it. He'd be like, I think everything's fine. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it did take a while to like understand Cress's needs. You're right. Yeah, so it would take a time. for him to get there. Like he would eventually. It would just be a work in progress.
Yes.
Versus Aragorn's the package. He's there.
The whole deal. The whole deal there. He's perfect. All right. Next is Idris Elba versus Henry Golding's character, Nick Young from Crazy Rich Asians. I think it's Nick Young. Oh, I don't know. Ooh.
Yeah.
Because Nick Young grew up wealthy that he wouldn't know. He'd be like, I never had to do this.
That's true.
Never had to clean.
And if we are comparing to Idris's character who's from The Office, though, like, I'm not sure he would, too. Like, he's kind of an asshole in The Office. So...
Yeah. Now we're bringing in his character.
Yeah, now when it matters.
When it matters. Before it didn't matter. I think Nick Young, while he grew up rich, having now moved to New York when the movie starts, he lives pretty normally. Because his girlfriend in the movie didn't know he was wealthy. So I think he's cleaning up after himself because he lived alone and he knows. Yeah. So I think it's Nick Young.
It's tough because if we're going by just Idris, I think you would too. I think
the character. I don't know. He's just a little bit older, so I think maybe it had to be a conversation. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just based off his age, like I think he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, but I think with older men, it just has to still be a little bit of a conversation.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's do Henry Gold's character, Nick Young. That was really hard. Wow. This final lineup, oh my goodness.
This actually makes total sense to me, though. It's Aragorn versus Henry Golding / Nick Young. These are both A+,
rich men. Yes,
is rich men. One is a king. One is a super wealthy inheritance heir. He's an heir.
Yeah, and probably like their cultural values playing a part with the decisions we made so far. So, which is fitting with the next. Question.
Yeah. So for the final round, who would your family / your grandmother most approve of? I think they would approve with either of these.
Honestly, yes. So for context, Olivia and I both have, we're both first-generation Americans. We both have parents who immigrated to the United States from Egypt and India. So like culture is a huge part of like our decisions when choosing partners. You need their approval. Especially grandparents' approval. And it seems like in both these scenarios, these two men care about family. They would respect our family and our cultures and our values. I don't even know. I'm not even leaning towards either of them right now. What do you think?
I agree. I think they're both would be fantastic to take home. It'd be like an honor to show them to my family. Either one.
Look what I landed.
look what I got. Aragorn is a little bit messy at times, but we can move past that because we've talked about how we think he looks best when he's messy, not clean. Aragorn has also murdered some people, bad people, but so I don't judge him. We have to get in the weeds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Henry Golding's character, Nick Young, has not murdered anyone. Comes from a very wealthy family. Yes, being immigrant families ourselves, I think our families would align very well. I think there would be similar values. I think I could see some of the mothers getting a little bit conflicted. I think like his mom and my mom might have a little bit of, I think they would be friends. There just might be like when we're planning the wedding, lots of opinions.
Like whose culture will be more represented, we would both come from communal cultures where we like share food and like, your family, lives together for several years. But yeah, I agree that like there might be drama involved.
There might be a lot of drama.
Like my family also is very chaotic and drama intense sometimes. I hope they don't watch this.
I mean, yeah, it's just when you come from like those types of cultures, family is very important, and there's just also inherently a lot of drama where there's just a lot of opinions, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, but it can also be very stressful.
Yeah,
and especially when there's money involved.
When there's money,
that's tougher.
Who's paying more for the wedding? Yeah, things like that.
Yes. Then who gets more of a say? Yeah.
Who would your family be more impressed by, a king or an heir to like a fortune?
I think a king.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my family would be so impressed by
Oh, they'd
we
be like,
wouldn't
you.
tell them details about murder, obviously. We would be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be a queen, guys.
Yeah. And do you see him? Do you see him? Like, just look at him. Just look. He never murdered anyone out of spite. He just murdered people for survival.
Survival, yes.
Yeah. I think we're agreed. Maybe we have agreed on who
I
it is.
think we should we say it at the same time at
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Aragorn.
Aragorn. Yes, it's Aragorn. No surprise to anybody, but I mean,
Yeah.
we said it from the beginning that we think Aragorn would win, and he did. But it wasn't easy for him to get here. But
Yay!
Aragorn wins.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
let's talk about, do we agree? Yeah, I also agree that I kind of maybe expected him to make it this far. Did I know he'd win? I didn't know,
No.
but I think that we knew he'd make it this far.
Yes. Agreed. I mean, the man is literally perfect. There's just no
Mhm.
questions about it. Yeah.
Ideal boyfriend.
He is the ideal boyfriend. But it was, yeah. I think got lucky in his bracket too. If he was paired up with Henry Golding in a different question, he may not have won.
I think so too. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was lucky in his placement. I think so.
Yeah. That's part of this is luck. Like in the same way that Pedro Pascal got knocked out early on. It's just he can't pay for dinner, man. He lives in an
He
apocalypse.
can't.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's fine, but it is what it is.
Who would you have picked without doing a bracket? Like, who would you want to be the winner?
I mean, Aragorn would probably be up there. I think I love Thorne, so Thorne would be up there too. I'm sad that Nick Miller got booted out earlier. I love Nick. He's not a good boyfriend, but I love him. Big fan.
I'm sad about that too. We got a lot of people knocked out right away that I think would have made great contenders later on.
Yes, would have been so good because Nick would be at a Taylor Swift concert. I think Nick would love it. I think he would have been out like a favorite.
Ooh. I mean, just like Pedro Pascal in general, and then like as Javier Pena, like I knew he'd be knocked out. He wouldn't be the winner just based on his personality, but looks wise, yes. Dave Patel, if he wasn't in that character, he typically plays just like wholesome men, and so like if he was anyone else, he might have made it far. And the cultures, like we would align. My parents would be so happy if I dated Dave Patel.
He's a good-looking dude. It's true.
Yeah, Nick Miller, so great. But yeah, oh, and the Duke did make it far from Bridgerton.
He did, but he's problematic.
Yeah,
that character's problematic.
He's got issues, but to look at, yes,
beautiful. Oh, Zuko too. I wish Zuko lasted longer.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that would have been. I wonder how he would have reacted to some of these scenarios, because like he sometimes doesn't know how to talk to women. He has to go through all the 3 what are the chapters? What are those called? Seasons of Avatar for us to even consider dating him, because initially he's just angry.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, Aragorn, perfect man.
Perfecto. Yeah. No complaints. Yeah,
no complaints.
For sure.
Great boyfriend. No notes. Well, thanks for listening to our completely unhinged episode of Fictional Boyfriend March Madness. I hope you guys liked it. Please leave a comment down below. We're going to put a little question in Spotify about who you think should have won if you don't agree with any of our choices or our reasoning, although it's perfect science, and I don't know why you would disagree with us, because it's absolutely perfect science. So you're the problem, not us. But anyway, thanks for listening. Tune in next week again for Fangirl Feels. We record this every week, and next week we'll be talking about our favorite feel-good shows, the shows that we like to watch, that if we're just tired, if we just want to relax, what shows we watch and why. So follow us on Spotify, wherever you're listening to this, YouTube, subscribe, Look at all the links, rate and review us, give us good reviews. If you're going to give us a bad review, don't rate it, don't review us, don't do
Yeah,
that.
just skip over this. Why would you, you know?
Yeah, like why do you hate good things? I don't understand. Why would you do that? But anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week. But until then, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.